David Hogg is branching out as his anti-gun campaign is getting old, and he isn't receiving more TV interviews. Being the crafty little propagandist, the 18-year-old scammer has turned his attention to a new cause that he hopes will thrust him back into the limelight. Except, his new cause puts girls and women in harm's way, and he is getting his butt kicked in a huge backlash. David Hogg, photo credit, screenshot. Well, David Hogg has gotten himself into quite a pickle. The rash anti-gun nut job has now taken up the cause of the Equal Rights Amendment era for women. Yep, and as expected, Hogg is in over his head, knowing nothing about a fight that has been going on for years. Of course, Hogg doesn't know anything about the era, but it sounds good, right? Who wouldn't want equal rights for women? Geez, it's 2018 and women don't have equal rights? Never fear, it's David Hogg to the rescue, ladies. He's all about women getting their equal rights, and I'm sure he thinks this is all President Donald Trump's fault that women aren't equal. It seems Hogwash was running around Washington, D.C., trolling for that new cause since the anti-gun thing isn't getting him on CNN anymore. Time to switch it up, he tweets. I'm going to be at a congressional hearing on the era today, an amendment I learned about in a push. Wow, I'm going to be at a congressional hearing on the era today, an amendment I learned about in a push. Wow, David Hogg, at David Hogg 111, June 6, 2018. Well, I guess that hearing made him an expert on the era issue because, after that, he posted the most annoying tweet: women's rights are human rights. 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 For those of you who weren't around in the 1970s and 80s when this was a hot topic, let's be clear. Only hardcore leftist women backed this era amendment, and now, they are back again trying to pass it in 2018. Why are only hardcore leftist women backing the era? The era is not about equal rights for women. If it were, it would duplicate the 14th Amendment. Men and women are different. The era would remove all legal distinctions between sexes. Era does not mention women, according to sex bias in the U.S. Code, a book written by U.S. Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. The era will change 800 federal laws, including the elimination of Social Security benefits for wives and widows. Right now, if a wife outlives her spouse, she receives his Social Security benefits. If, for example, both spouses are entitled to benefits when he dies, if his amount is greater than hers, she can opt for his. Not only would women, including mothers, be subject to the draft, but the military would be compelled to place them in combat units alongside men, says the U.S. House Judiciary Committee report. Hey, if a woman wants to join the military, that's awesome. But I don't think we want to make it mandatory for a draft, nor do we want to make all women have to be in combat. However, you see, equal is equal, so if the era passes, look out. The era would be used to invalidate any laws or policies that prohibit men and women suffering from gender identity disorder from using restrooms, locker rooms, and dressing rooms designated for the opposite sex, since equality of rights under the law shall not be denied on account of sex. There is virtually no limit to the number and kind of lawsuits that the era will spawn. This legislation will be used to eliminate the innate differences between males and females. This is as absurd as using the law to eliminate the rising and setting of the sun. It is impossible. So, as you can see, Hogg is in way over his head, and once again, he is being used by the hardcore leftist in the Women's March, who have been helping pay for his trips and keeping him as their personal tool. I'm sure they laugh knowing they are getting a beta male to advocate their causes. Americans told hogwash to stop since he doesn't know a thing about the era. Amy Seaver pointed out to Little David, women are already guaranteed equal protection of the laws under the 14th Amendment, and the Supreme Court effectively treats discrimination claims under the same standards as any other protected class. See Hogg, 1982, JEB v. Alabama, and the U.S. v. Virginia, women are already guaranteed equal protection of the laws under the 14th Amendment, and the Supreme Court effectively treats discrimination claims under the same standards as any other protected class. See Hogg, 1982, JEB v. Alabama, and U.S. v. Virginia. Amy Swearer, at Amy Swearer, June 6, 2018, can someone please help me understand what rights women do not have? I am a 45-year-old woman and have never once in my life felt like I was disadvantaged in any way, tweeted Wendy Marie. Can someone please help me understand what rights women do not have? I am a 45-year-old woman and have never once in my life felt like I was disadvantaged in any way. Wendy Marie, at Glass Houses 73, June 6, 2018, EJM, pointed out to Hogg that, if he really cared about women and their rights, he would be bringing attention to the women living under Islamic rule. American women have rights, those living in the Arab world do not. But, we all know the leftists hate it when we bring up Islam. They refuse to help those women, because it's just not politically correct to call out nutjob extremist men who rape, torture, and perform female genital mutilation, all under the guise that Muslim women have no rights and are as lowly as animals. pic.twitter.com/poo4gn3at, EJM, at Boss12, June 7, 2018. There is no end to David Hogg's stupidity. Where are his parents? He does not realize that he has no life experience to handle the issues he is taking on. This entire concept that the young people will show us the way is ludicrous and another leftist ploy. There is a reason we have age requirements to hold public office. With age, hopefully, comes maturity, but sadly, for many, like Nancy Pelosi, 78, and Maxine Waters, 79, that's no guarantee. Beta male David Hogg will grow up to be a hardcore leftist who believes the government owes him, and he has all the answers to make America a great utopia of equal rights. Facebook has greatly reduced the distribution of our stories in our readers' news feeds and is instead promoting mainstream media sources. When you share on social media, however, you greatly help distribute our content. Please take a moment and consider sharing this article with your friends and family. Thank you.